All right, today we're going to break down a really powerful, proven system for tackling one of the world's great memory challenges, memorizing the Quran. Let's dive right in.
So, just imagine for a second, being able to memorize an entire complex page of text in just 6 minutes. I mean, that sounds almost impossible, right? But it's a level of skill that is totally achievable. And today, we're going to unpack exactly how you get there.
And look, this isn't some abstract theory. This system comes from someone who actually did it, memorizing the entire Quran by the time he was just 14. His journey wasn't easy. He learned from 8 different teachers, took the best of what they taught, and refined it all into a method that made the path way easier for his own son.
So what's the secret? Well, at its core, the whole thing rests on a simple but incredibly powerful 3-part structure. This is the big picture game plan that organizes everything you do, every single day.
Okay, part 1 is called Sabak. Super simple. This is just your new lesson for the day. It might be a couple of lines, it might be a full page, but this is the brand new stuff you're adding.
Next up is Subki. And you know what? This is where the magic really happens. Subki is all about revising the stuff you've learned recently, like the last few pages. This constant review is what keeps it fresh and starts to lock it in for good.
And finally, we have DAR. Think of this as your long-term insurance policy. This is where you cycle back through everything you've already memorized, even stuff from months ago. DAR is the safety net that makes sure nothing you work so hard for ever slips away.
So see how it all fits together? Your new lesson, the Sabak, goes into your short-term memory. It's easy to learn, but it's also really easy to forget. Subki is the bridge. It's the hard work that carries that knowledge over into your long-term memory. And once it's there, DAR keeps it strong.
So what does this actually look like in a real day? Well, you tackle your new lesson, your Sabak, in the morning when your brain is fresh. Then the heavy lifting, your revision and class time, happens in the evening. It's a serious commitment, yeah, about 4 hours a day, but it's structured to get the absolute most out of that time.
All right, so that's the big picture. We've got the 30,000-foot view. Now, let's zoom all the way in and look at the tiny mechanics of how you actually lock in a single verse perfectly. It's a really methodical process. Before you do anything else, you have to nail the pronunciation. Then, and this is key, don't try to swallow the whole verse. Start with just 2 or 3 words, repeat them over and over. Then add the next few words to that chunk and repeat the whole thing. Once you have the new verse down, you immediately connect it back to the one you learned right before it.
And the standard here is, well, it's basically perfection. The goal isn't just to kinda know your new lesson. The goal is to be able to recite it from memory flawlessly with 0 mistakes. If you're stumbling even a little bit, you're not done yet. You have to build a perfect foundation.
Okay, so once you get that core system, Sabak, Subki, DAR, humming along, and you've got the mechanics of memorizing down, then you can start layering in some really cool techniques to accelerate the whole process and make your memory even stronger.
Here are a few absolute game changers. Listen to an expert reciter first so you get the sound right in your head. Read a translation so you actually understand the story. That's a huge memory aid. Try passive listening. Just having a recitation playing in the background, it really works. And when you recite, do it melodiously. It creates these powerful sound hooks in your brain.
Now this next one is super cool because it uses a totally different part of your brain. Top-level memorizers literally build a mental photograph of every page. They can see if a verse is on the top left or the bottom right. That visual anchor becomes an amazing tool for getting unstuck if they hit a wall during a recitation.
And here's an incredibly effective trick. Turn it into a game. Start timing yourself. How long does a page take? Just the act of trying to beat your own time creates this intense focus, cuts out distractions, and makes the whole thing way more engaging. This is how you go from needing hours for a page down to just a few minutes. So we've got the big system, the micro techniques, and the pro-level tips to speed things up. But after all of that, there is one final piece. And honestly, it might be the single most important thing that holds this entire multi-year effort together.
Which leads us to a really important question. With all these great tools and systems, can you actually do this all by yourself? And the answer, based on tons of experience, is a pretty blunt no. This is such a massive long-term goal that for the vast majority of people, trying to go it alone just, well, usually ends with giving up. And that's why the single most important tool isn't a technique at all. It's a person, a teacher, a mentor, even just a friend you recite to every day.
This person is the linchpin. They provide the accountability and the structure that you absolutely need to see a marathon like this all the way to the finish line.
So there you have it. This incredible feat of memory, it's not magic, it's a system. It's a combination of a macro plan, a micro technique, and an absolutely essential support structure. It's a huge challenge, but it is achievable, which really only leaves one question left. Thanks for watching.